It's the LinkedIn for the Win podcast. Today, we're going to talk about your LinkedIn profile. It's winning time. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in, listening, downloading, subscribing, and giving the feedback. I appreciate the love. So, today we're going to talk about your LinkedIn profile. It's not just to tell your story, okay? It's also how you're found by recruiters. So, it's so important. The importance cannot be stressed enough, making sure you have the right ingredients on your LinkedIn profile. On the Inside Stuff episode, we talked about how recruiters search for candidates, right? So if you haven't had a chance to listen to that podcast, go back and listen to it. This is crucial information. And today is so crucial. And let me tell you why. Number one, most companies you apply to will they'll check out your profile. As a matter of fact, I have an interview coming up and I saw at least one or two people from that company checking me out today. All right. No lie. I'm not making this up. This is all real time. Okay. Next, when you go to another person's page, they know that you checked them out. Just like I told you, somebody from that company checked me out. Unless you change your settings in some way, shape, or form so that you're anonymous, you will appear. So you always want to give a great impression, especially if you've tried to connect with that individual, right? If you want to be recruited, if you want recruiters to find you, you have to have a great LinkedIn page. Now, as I've told you in I think both of the previous podcasts, best way to get your next job is to be recruited. Crucial information today, guys. Let's take it from the top. So your header picture should be something appropriate. And what I mean by that is maybe a picture of your alma mater. I have Michigan State on mine. Some people have a picture of maybe their coworkers with them at work, or maybe the logo of their company that they work for, or a skyline of the city where they live or used to live, or something like that. Okay. Profile pic. Head and shoulder pictures are the norm. It's typically the best way to go about it. Guys, collared shirts. Ladies and gents, please have business casual attire. And I would say nobody else in your picture. Sometimes I've seen profile pictures with husband and wives, and sometimes a kid with their parent. No, okay, this is not Facebook. No wedding pictures or family pics. This is not Facebook. Save that for Facebook. This is professional. So we have to act accordingly. Okay, so your headline, this is the line under your name. You should tell what you do or who you are, essentially, your personal brand. Some people call it your so what line. So you want to give somebody a reason, particularly a recruiter, give them a reason to stop at your profile and look at what you're doing, right? Versus somebody else. So it's kind of a headline, of course, is to grab attention. So make that an attention grabber. There's some great articles out there on how to create a so what kind of value proposition headline. Okay. And I can put some links up as well for those. I have a LinkedIn group as well as my personal profile. I post a lot of articles pretty much every day. I post an article, some type of help for job seekers. So keep a lookout for that. Now, next is your current position and then your college or alma mater. Underneath that, there is your location. Now, there's no reason to leave this off. If you're trying to get a job, you definitely want to have your location on there, right? Industry. So you can either select the type of role that you're in. So I'm a recruiter, I can select human resources, or I could select in retail. I was in retail. I was a retail recruiter, so I could select retail as well. So it kind of varies based upon your role and kind of what you do. All right. Here's a huge part of your profile: the summary. So the reason why is because the summary is going to be what you have to offer a company. So instead of listing what you want to tell recruiters what you have to offer. maybe including some accomplishments. The key is also to include keywords specific to your search and your industry and your position. So, if you have a type of position that you want and there are certain keywords that are aligned with that role, you want to make sure you can include as much of that in this section, because when recruiters search, they're going to look for those types of words for people who have your skill set. Include as much as you can in the body of the summary. If you need to add some more keywords, what you can kind of do is a little hack. The hack is creating a section. On mine, I have specialties. Under the specialties, I have a number of keywords that I found in different jobs and just based on my own knowledge of being in the industry. What you can do if you're not sure about what these words will be for you is to go into the job search section of LinkedIn. Look through several jobs that you would apply to. It doesn't matter if it's in your area or not. We just want to pull up these job descriptions or these job postings so that we know what these necessary skills are. And you want to make sure you include the applicable skills that you actually have into your maybe specialty section. You can call it whatever you want, but mine is specialty. So your summary can also be done in a first or third person. So it could be somebody that's describing you, or it could be you speaking to a recruiter or whoever's visiting your page. Make sense? Okay, so this is the best way to help yourself be found by people who are looking for someone with your skill set. Now, keywords are essential, as we've talked about. I'm going to keep banging on it because it's so essential to your job search. Now, on the right-hand side, there's a section called Contact and Personal Information. Here's where your profile URL and email address are listed. Please, I'm going to say one more time, please have a professional email address. No cornflakes1732@yahoo.com or drop it like it's hot 4@gmail.com. No. Okay, just no. If you have your name or initial or something like that, that's perfect. We want to include some combination of name and initials. Maybe numbers are fine, and preferably at Gmail. Okay, that's kind of the standard. I mean, some people still use Yahoo or Hotmail. I mean, it's okay, but I would prefer Gmail. I think it's pretty much standard preferred email account professionally. So please, if you have a email address that does not fit that format, change that ASAP, not BSAP. Okay, so the URL is also important because you want to include this on your resume moving forward. You can create another customized URL for LinkedIn by clicking on the blue pencil icon in that section and kind of following the directions. And you want to make something that is, using your name. And if you have a common name, just keep playing with it until you can find something that hasn't been used. Make sense? Okay, so the next section is your activities. So anything that you've liked or posted or commented on will show up in this area. This isn't something obviously that you can change, but I just wanted to make you aware that people can go in and see some things that you may have posted previously and take a look at what you've been sharing. When you share, I know personally it does help your brand. So if you have a particular brand that you're trying to create on LinkedIn or online on social media, I tend to post things about job search and helping people with certain tools, right? Because that's what I do and that's what I enjoy doing. And it's funny because I used to read about personal branding. Well, I had one of my old coworkers said, "Hey, I saw you posted this and posted that." I'm like, "Oh, somebody's noticing what I'm doing." She's like, "Yeah, I really read those every day." So I'm like, "Wow, this thing really does work." So keep at it. You never know who's looking at it. So anyway, the next section is experience, and we're going to talk about that. That deserves its own podcast because we can really get deep into this part of the profile. This is really where the meat of your profile is and where you're going to attract those who are trying to find your skill sets, the recruiters, the hiring managers, and the executives. So we'll go through and talk about not just the experience section, we'll talk about, of course, education, the featured skills and endorsements, and your recommendations, which is also very important. So come back next week on a For the Win Wednesday, and we'll talk about the rest of the LinkedIn page, especially that experience section. This has been the LinkedIn for the Win podcast. Let's win together.